Welcome to Om Times TV, a division of Om Times Media and Broadcasting. Let's face it, life isn't easy. If you're stuck in a bad relationship, betrayed or afraid of tomorrow, financially insecure, or desperate for a breakthrough, you've come to the right place. Dr. Carmen Harra is a renowned psychologist, intuitive, relationship expert, and best-selling author, and she's here to give you the miracle guidance you need. Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Dr. Harra's show aims to eliminate everyday problems, big and small, with topics like healing your relationships, reclaiming your power, achieving better health, dealing with loss, and so much more. Regain the joy, stability, and fulfillment you deserve to feel. Tune in to Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life with host Dr. Carmen Harra and find the answers you've been looking for.
Hello, everybody. So excited to be with you at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, every Tuesday, with my wonderful Christopher. And with you guys, I'm always here for you. This is a calling show. And we're trying every week to touch upon different topic. And I always consider that one of the most interesting topic is to talk about your emotions. And the reason I'm saying this because we live in a world that is dominated by fear. We're not in the world of love as a totality, as a whole. We are not living in love because we won't have war. We won't have, we'll have harmony, and we won't have the problems we are facing right now. So because we live in fear, everything that you see right now is manifesting, because fear is an old emotion. It's one of those emotions that dominate us and is like hunting us. When I say that, I'm referring to the fact that we're afraid of pretty much everything. We're afraid of tomorrow. We're afraid of war. We're afraid of poverty. We're afraid of the economy not going well. We're afraid of being sick. We're afraid of dying. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of the spirit world. We're afraid of pretty much everything. But we're not afraid to harm other people. We are not even afraid to kill. We're not afraid to bring a bad partner in our lives, somebody who's bipolar or somebody who's toxic or somebody who's schizophrenic. We're not afraid of that. We're not afraid to settle in the wrong relationship. We're not afraid to harm ourselves, to self-sabotage ourselves. We're not afraid, to eat the wrong food. So that's why I said this fear is sometimes so irrational, so unwarranted. So I want you to understand what fear does to us. And my definition of fear is the fear is that wall, that blockage, that energy that is stopping you from reaching your potential. It's stopping you from living your authentic life. It's stopping you from achieving all your dreams. So the theme today is how can we actually let go of fear? What can we actually do to live that authentic life? So I invite you to this conversation. So I want you to call in, and I'm always having a great pleasure to analyze a topic in a discussion with you directly. That makes this show authentic, that makes this show real and unscripted. And that's exactly how I want the show to be. So feel free to call in 202 570 7057. Again, 202 570 7057. This is the number, very easy to dial. And you reach Christopher, my producer, and he will connect you with me. And I am welcoming you to the show. I want to find out what is your opinion about the life that you live. Have you ever thought that your emotions like fear are actually impeding you from a success? Or have you ever thought that through the course of your life you experience traumatic event that make you continue to live in fear? Because fear many times is coming from the subconscious mind, or is just coming from previous experiences that might originate during youth, during your upbringing, during your childhood. And it's important to go deep within yourself and find that moment and delete that from your life so you can break through, so that fear is not that wall I'm talking about that doesn't exist for you anymore. And I know I have some callers, and I would love to continue to how should I call it, to invite you to the conversation. And I'm going to tell you something that I always remember that goes back to the philosopher Confucius, who said, if you look into your own heart and there's nothing wrong there, what it is to be worried about, what it is to be afraid of. And the world today, as I said, is a world dominated by fear, almost like a phenomena. Because everybody I'm talking to, and I talk on a daily basis with a lot of people for many, many, many years since I'm doing this career in counseling people and working in the medical field, I've seen people afraid uh, constantly at different ages, different phases in their lives. And our fear, as I said, may be sometimes irrational because we're scared of all kinds of stuff. We're afraid we're going to lose the job. We're afraid we will never have the money, to live a decent life. We're afraid of what's happening in this world right now, that it's completely out of control. And fear goes back to one of those emotions, like I say, that goes hand in hand with other feelings that are less positive. For instance, emotions like anger, emotion like hate. There's one step from fear into anger. I mean, you're afraid till you become angry. You become angry with your fear. You become angry with yourself. And you can even become self-destructive. This is like a pattern of thinking, a pattern of behavior that the more you allow it, the more you allow it to settle in, the more you suffer because of it. Because all these negative emotions, they lead to suffering. They lead to a state of unaccomplishment, unfulfillment, and not knowing which way to turn and how to go about life overall. And as I said, fear goes hand in hand with other emotions. And on the other hand, it goes hand in hand even with positive emotions. that can pretty much, annihilate fear. If you think of all those people who live in parts of the world, like in Tibet, where they meditate, where they connected to a higher power, where they live in brotherhood, where they live in harmony. There are some places on earth when there's a high energy, when people try to apply these laws of the universe. Over there, fear pretty much doesn't exist. Can you imagine this world without fear? Just for a second, how this world will be without us living in the fear of everything you are experiencing? Because whatever we experience is also a result of being afraid of. What you're afraid of, you will experience. If you're afraid you're not going to get the job, chances are you're not going to get the job. If you're afraid you'll never get married, chances are that will never happen to you. So it's almost like we said, what you think you become, but what you project, what you emotionally express, you become. So you are a result of your emotion. You are a result of your thoughts, and your thoughts are connected, are linked to your emotional self. And as I said, we're far away from that kind of a beautiful world that we should be living in. And we have how should I say, a hard time understanding why is all of this happening. Because on the other hand, fear is blocking your potential. That power that exists in all of us is diminished when a negative emotion like fear takes control. But I want you to listen to your fear. I want you to look inside, detach yourself from a second from this emotion, and become like an observer of your own feelings, and try to understand, where is this feeling coming from. And I also want you to be very fair and very rational and very honest to yourself. And this is the only way you can get to the root of the problem. Exactly like in everything that you want to find about your own self, you have to go to the moment in your life when that particular something originated. I'm going to take your calls in a minute, but I also want you to know about my new book. I mentioned my new book before. It's called Plus One, The Numerology of Relationship. Is a book that helps you understand what a good partner means. How can you find the other half, the person who's gonna make your life fulfill? Because we want love. We are like incomplete on our own, like we half of the sphere. So you need to come to bring in the other half. That you need that the two parts of a whole to match perfectly. So for that reason, you have to know yourself very well. You have to know who you really are, and you have to know who your partner is, and what are your expectations of somebody coming into your life. And my book, Plus One, is blending this two teaching. Is taking the ancient teaching that goes back to Pythagoras, the concept of time, the first probably mathematician on earth, and Plato was the first, I should say, psychologist, the first who tried to introduce the concept of human behavior in the world. And everything, Plato discovered through the theory of form, Carl Jung translated into the concept of human archetypes in psychology. So as I said, everything goes back to 2,500 years ago, to the era of the Greeks. And I took these two aspects of the human existence, and I made the connection. And I said, well, psychology works hand in hand with numerology, believe it or not. And probably I'm one of the very few, if not the only one, psychologist who believes that the human archetype can be actually defined through your birth code. So when we are born, we have something that is called a divine codification. Now, recently I'm studying genetics at Harvard, and what I'm learning is fascinating. And actually, at the level of the genes, at the level of the cell, at the level of the mitochondria, at the level of the essence of where we're coming from that drop of DNA, there is a code. So everything is a code. The Bible has a code. The human existence has a code. And that codification speaks volume about who you are and who you are meant to be. If you think of your genetics, so you are meant to be a certain weight, meant to be a certain height, meant to have a certain color of your eyes. You're going to be lighter skin, darker skin, have predisposition to birth certain diseases. So everything is there. The same thing comes true with the moment of your birth. When you're born, there is something there that defines your personality, believe it or not. And this is what my book is all about. It blends these two philosophies. It tries to make them real and authentic. So it becomes like a tool, like a manual that you can use to identify a relationship that you are in and understand the type of a relationship that people go through and dissociate one from another. And I want you to let me know if you get my book, if you're interested in reading it, because I want your opinion, or if any of you listening to the show, and if you want to let me know if you got the book, what do you think about the book? I'll be very interested to hear what you have to say. And I'm always looking for new subjects. I'm working on a book on holistic medicine right now. Actually, I pretty much finished this book. And meanwhile, I'm doing, by the way, I want you guys to know that I'm doing courses. I did a course in numerology recently, and I just finished a course in alternative medicine and alternative healing. And I found that so fascinating. I was able to write hundreds of pages about how to treat the human body, to treat it in a preventive way, and how can we actually heal from any diseases, because the body can actually heal itself beautifully without major intervention, unless there's something dramatic, and that's a different story. But otherwise, major diseases can be healed naturally, because the ability of the body, intelligence of the body, is helping us with that. So this is pretty much, these are my projects. I'm also doing a course in psychology for any of you who's interested in learning much more about medicine, psychology, the teaching of numerology, and so on and so forth. So you can go to carmenharra.com and check on my courses. But as I said, my book is intended to unlock, this divine DNA and recognize, help you recognize your partner's archetype, and make you gain a sense of compatibility between you and your partner, and help you understand your weaknesses, your strength. This is where the book has a deep psychological explanation of who you are, who your partner is, and how can you dissociate, and how you can work out the relationship that you got yourself into. Talking about being afraid, because we're not afraid sometimes to get involved in relationships that are toxic, that will cause us so much pain and suffering. But we are afraid of other things, and this is something that is not making us be worried or be concerned, when it actually should. So that's why I said, let me write this book to help people overcome obstacles in their life, so that they live in harmony with their partner. I want to talk to you very briefly about the 5 things to be afraid of. You should be afraid not to be with the right person, because that can cause you a lot of suffering. You should be afraid to settle with the wrong person, because you don't want to go to the drama. You don't want to go to that nightmare. So because sometimes you might bring into your life somebody who's a reflection of your fear. You should be afraid not to heal from a negative emotional experience, because we need constantly healing. And if we have old wounds that are open, you will never break through. You'll never move forward. You should be afraid not to recognize your divine nature. A lot of people don't recognize that we have a divine nature within ourselves, that we are all spiritual beings. And this is the most beautiful thing about life itself. You should be afraid of anger. Anger is such a negative enemy. And you should be always afraid that your brain can actually be programmed for anger. I don't know if you've seen, but I've seen angry people doing incredible things. Look at all these terrorist attacks that come from people who are just an explosion of anger. They are worse than the bomb itself. So look what's happening in the world because of anger. Anger leads to war, to disaster, to a catastrophic world. And we should be afraid of that. We should also be afraid of not fulfilling our life purpose. You don't want that. That is a scary feeling, that you are on earth and you're not fulfilling anything. And when it's time for you to exit this world, you can say, well, I don't even know why I was on earth for, because I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't fulfill anything. You don't want that. You want to fulfill your life. You want to understand your mission. You understand why you're here. You want to accomplish the things that you're meant to accomplish. So I'm just telling you what you should be afraid of, and what are things that you never have to be afraid. You should never be afraid of your intuition. People are afraid of the intuitive mind. They say, oh my God, I don't know what that is. People are afraid of the future. Don't be afraid of your future. Your future is what you make of it. And the future of humanity is what humanity makes of it. But if you are afraid, you sabotage all your chances for success. It's as simple as that. You should be afraid of the world around you. You should be afraid, but you should never be afraid of that and the other side. So there's a thing that people are afraid, but you should not be afraid, because there's nothing to fear in the fifth dimension. There's everything that can be to fear here, but not there. And I know that's easy to say and hard to prove, but this is just my point, and this is what my point I'm trying to make on the show today. I think I'm gonna take a brief. I'm gonna go to the break if Christopher thinks that we should take a break, and then I'm gonna go and take your calls.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse, walk a mile in my shoes.
I'm back. So excited to be on Home Time Radio every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time with my wonderful Christopher. Home Time Radio is such an extraordinary place to be if you have ideas, if you love to communicate with an audience, if you want to, as I said, achieve your goal, your purpose, and live with the sense of achievement. And if you're not there, I tell you, what's between you and your success is actually your fear. It can come in so many ways. Fear is hard to define, and as I said, sometimes it's so irrational because it doesn't make sense to be afraid, for instance, uh, to receive a new job, but on the other hand, to hurt someone else and have no fear of hurting another human being. So this is where there's this contradiction between the way people express emotions like fear in their lives. But I want to go and take your call. So if you still want to be part of this conversation, if you're afraid of something, call me and let's talk about. When you talk about your fear, you overcome. Those emotions are exposed in the light and you can release them. That's why we used to say that whatever's in your subconscious mind needs to be open. Imagine your subconscious mind like a big door where everything is stored, and you want to release it. You want to open the door to that storage and let everything come out. And this would be the way that you will break through all those emotions that are stored there. And sometimes emotions like fear and hate and anger and dissatisfaction and scarcity and all those negative feelings store in that big room, which is in one of the hemispheres of your brain, the reactive side of the brain. The moment you let them out and you release them, you feel like lighter, exactly like you drop 30 pounds, 50 pounds, and immediately you feel a different person. Don't allow those feelings to stay there. It's like a disease. Release everything so that you can free yourself from emotions that are negative and are causing only suffering. Trust me, emotion like fear, hate, and anger, they lead to disease, to a disconnect in the field of energy. This is the way people get sick. This is the way when people are traumatized. When I go through a severe emotion that is so intense that is causing a post-traumatic stress disorder, is causing a disease, may even cause cancer. So I encourage you to release. Some people release feelings by simply learning how to breathe, by simply visualizing those emotions negative, like something very dark that gets out of you. And obviously, working on it, working consciously on your feelings is a very positive step forward. I'm going to go right now to an old friend of mine who used to be a friend of the show for many years, and she's back, and her name is Leilani. Hi, my lovely Leilani. How are you, my dear?
Oh, Carmen, I'm so happy to speak with you. I love you so much.
Oh, I love you more, my Leilani. How are
I
you?
miss you.
How are you, my love?
I'm really grateful today. I'm feeling blessed and full of gratitude and joy and love in my heart.
This is what you're teaching the world, and that's why I love having people like you on the show who are showing that no matter what the circumstances, the dominant emotion is not the emotion of anger, is not the emotion of fear or desire, it's the emotion of love and gratitude. We used to say that you heal everything within yourself if you're grateful. If you're grateful for the struggle, if you're grateful for the suffering, if you're grateful for the pain, you create the miracle of life. So you're an inspiration, Leilani. So tell us a little bit, how have you been lately? I haven't heard from you in quite a while.
I've been really good. I'm back in Denver, Colorado. I've been seeing a lot of refugees from Venezuela, and I ended up buying some jackets for two young guys in their early 20s.
Oh, good. Beautiful.
I met a young family from Venezuela. I think you may know what's going on with the Venezuelan refugees.
Right.
And the mother's 21 and the father's 24, and they have a 2-year-old daughter, and they walked
Oh, beautiful.
countries. They walked 7 countries without food, water, or money to get here because there's no jobs and their families are starving in Venezuela. So I ended up taking them to the market and buying them about $132 worth of groceries and toys for the little girl and clothes for the mother. So that's one way I've been currently giving back. But I wanted to ask you a couple things today. So I'm back in Denver for a little while, and I've been having.
So you left Colorado. You're in Denver right now. You're not in Colorado anymore.
I am in Denver, Colorado currently.
Or in Denver, Colorado. I apologize. Okay.
Yes. And I've been having some dental work done, and I wanted to find out. So I went to one dentist to get an advice, and something felt really off with him, and thousands of dollars, but something felt off, and I left. And sure enough, I found another dentist, and she said, yeah, what he told you wasn't accurate. So I don't know. Can I ask him for my money back, or should I just let it go?
I don't know what the protocol of a dentist or anybody in the medical field is. I think if you saw them, and he charged you for what? What was this charge for?
He did x-rays and he did some kind of saliva test, and I don't even know, but just something felt really off.
Well, did you approve of those tests? Because if you did, then you cannot
I did.
So then you cannot request a refund.
Okay, I just will let it go. But here's the thing, Carmen. This second dentist said I need to have this bridge removed from my mouth. I was in my 20s when I got it. And they want to do an implant, like a fake tooth in the bone. And it's going to be $10,300.
Those are very expensive. I don't think an implant should cost that much. I think that's again, I think, I'm not a dentist. I don't know the prices. But what I feel is like, go to someone else. I'll continue to go till I find somebody who's more human, more reasonable, because what happens in the medical field, there's a tendency to overcharge people, and I kind of don't want to pay that much, I feel like
this woman's holistic. That's why I like her. She's holistic.
Holistic doctors are charging more than anybody. I will never forget, I went to a holistic doctor. I shared this with you and with everyone listening. And she just made me a list of things she wanted to do that end up by $28,000. I look at her and never went back because it felt like absolutely craziness. And that the reason she charged that was because everything was holistic. More so, she sent me to a holistic doctor, and 1 hour consultation was $800. I didn't got too much of that of consultation, and they don't take insurances. So holistic doctors can be those who are charging more than anybody.
I want to go to her. I trust her. I like the energy of the office.
I believe, but pay attention to it's like you feel right now. I spend too much money with the doctor. I did the saliva test. Probably I was not supposed to do it. So make sure that you check with someone else when it comes to the prices. That's my advice.
Okay.
That's the money that I don't want. Yeah.
Carmen, I would just like to manifest the money. I mean, I feel like it's time I lived in abundance.
But there's a lesson here. No matter how much money you have and how much you'll manifest, you don't want to spend that much that is not normal to spend. You have to find out the prices. And you will be surprised that some other doctor probably charge a fraction of what this doctor is charging you. Because I've never heard of. I thought about
asking her if I could.
Sorry.
I thought about asking her if she'd take $8,000.
It's still way too much. It's too much. Try to see
what she's doing, Carmen. They're taking out the bridge, which is metal. They're making a new tooth and putting. And then I have a month of visits. 1 month, every week I go see her, and then they're taking out the mercury, all the mercury.
It's still a lot. I think this. I am not somebody who is supposed to evaluate the the work they do, but intuitively, I think 4,000 is more than enough. Intuitively, my opinion.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
The prices are different. Everybody charges different prices.
It's true.
Yeah.
And then secondly, Carmen, my storage unit, they increased the rent a lot. It got bought out by a big company. It used to be a family-owned business. So I'm wondering where to move my things. Do I move them into a different storage unit? Because I still don't have a permanent residence.
You need that permanent residence. That is something that is long time due. That if I were you,
Carmen, I don't know where to go. Nowhere feels good. It's really crazy. Nowhere in the USA feels good.
Have you thought about relocating the part of the world?
Yes, Spain.
Have you thought about Europe, moving to Spain? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've thought about Spain, Europe, but I'm not legal there.
But it's not what? What did you say?
I'm not legal to work and live there, and to get papers, it's a process.
You can get papers over there. You can get papers anywhere at the end of the day, you know. You can,
really?
Yeah, of course.
I
mean, if I'll go at least a month or two to see, can I adjust? Do I really like it? Is that environment good for me? So I'll do it if I were you, just to have an idea, you know.
Well, I've been there. I've been there a lot. I used to go there like 10 years ago.
Yeah, a lot changed in 10 years. A lot changed.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Right.
So I was thinking about returning there in October to see if I like it. Actually, one of my ex-boyfriends moved there. I had a dream about him, that we were having dinner on a plaza, and he called me the next day and he moved there.
Yeah, so first of all, see what you're going to do with the dentist. Second of all, go revisit. 10 years is a long time. Things have changed a lot. And go and see how you feel about that part of the world. You know, it's definitely something to introspect, because I know you going everywhere. I know you've been traveling all over. And if you say, well, I don't feel at home anywhere here, then try to see whether you feel at home in France, or you feel at home in Italy, or anywhere else, or in Greece. Why not? Anywhere else where you will feel home. And anytime you make a major change, anytime you cross an ocean, something good will happen. There's a door that will happen. So just allow that to happen.
And speaking of fear, you know, I have a fear about World War III. I don't know if I want to be in a foreign country.
That's the way I started the show. At the beginning of the show, I said that we live in fear. Humanity doesn't live in love, in harmony, in brotherhood, in how should I say, in love. We live in fear. And because we live in fear, that's what we create. We create war, we create tragedies, you know, we kill each other as a result of this dominant negative emotion that takes control over the world. The collective mind of the planet is dominated by fear. And we're afraid of tomorrow, we're afraid of war, we're afraid of poverty. And that comes through everywhere. That is America or Australia or Peru or Madrid. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. It's the same emotion that is not rooted in how should I say, in gratitude and compassion and helping each other. Is rooting in hate towards each other, and anger towards each other, and fear, consequently, of something bad happening to all of us.
And I didn't have this years ago. I didn't have it, Karma, years ago. I just have it now because the world's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's getting worse. I don't know if you agree with me. I see the world getting worse lately, you know. The world was better if we go back 15, 20 years ago versus now. You can't compare, you know.
Right.
So
should I just move my
feeling about the world either, you know?
Well, I do in the big picture, because it's all crumbling for a reason, because there's new being birthed. You but I see the bigger picture often. But should I just move my things into a different storage unit? Or I thought about asking a friend if I could store it at her second home.
That's probably a bad idea.
Bad?
A better idea. So try to talk to your friend, It looks like it's a good idea.
Okay.
It's better than keeping the storage, is negotiate with your friend, who seems to be very nice. In my opinion, she's a lovely person.
She is lovely.
Yeah, and she will help.
She will?
Allow her to help you. Yeah. So that's a very good idea.
Okay, I'm just always afraid to ask her. I don't know.
Again, the fear. Again, the dominant.
I know.
Number one oldest emotion of all times is being afraid of being rejected, being afraid of not succeeding, being afraid of the unknown. I'll move to Spain, but it's the unknown. I'm afraid how it's gonna, what am I gonna do there? I'm afraid to move to another place because I'm afraid I'm not gonna like it, So yeah, this is where it goes up in everybody's mind, in everybody's intention. There's a drop of fear, and that drop of fear is like poison, It poisons yourself, It's a self-inflicted pain that we all bring to ourselves. It's a self-sabotage, because with fear, you will sabotage yourself sooner or later. It's crazy how we project. Sorry?
There's a lot of places in my life where I'm very courageous.
Like?
So I have, I've been living in the unknown for 3 years. This month I've been living.
Yeah, that's courageous. I agree.
And I have traveled to, I think, 50 countries, and I've done a lot of things on my own. So I think I have some things but it doesn't paralyze me, because I always talk to spirit and I say, you show me the way and I'll go, and I know it's going to work out. And
you are courageous because you're spiritual. Yeah. Spirituality is helping you because you're a believer in the divine. So you're a believer that there's always there, what you want and what you need, it will manifest. So you operate on that belief system.
Yeah, and I believe in infinite possibilities, and I believe that
exactly.
I believe in miracles and synchronicities, and
right.
I just love you so much. I want to get your book, and I want to let somebody else take a call now, but I love you. Thank you.
Okay, my beautiful Alani, I love you, sweetie. It was so good talking to you. I love you.
You too.
I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna ask Christopher that we can take a short break, and then we'll continue the program.
Times TV. Imagine becoming a super influencer. Reinvent yourself, invest in your brand, and then manifest your success with a robust spheric approach. Times Media and Broadcasting offers a unique and multifaceted way to become the spiritual and conscious influencer you deserve to be by putting your message across our powerful platform with its proven record of integrity and excellence. Through our produced shows, Times offers the opportunity to become a social media TV personality, a radio show host, an Times magazine columnist, and a syndicated podcaster, all in one shot. By live streaming your show on Times TV and broadcasting it across the extensive Times radio and TV networks, you become more than a host. You become an ambassador and a force for positive change. Times. Open yourself to the possibilities.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
So I'm back, and I was just talking to Christopher that I used to do my show at 7 p.m. Eastern. Now I changed my show to 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. And a lot of people are calling at 7 because for so many years, many years, I've been doing it at 7 p.m. So people got used to 7 p.m. And when the show is over, they keep on calling. So just for everybody listening, if you are listening, and I'm going to put this on the social media, my show on Own Time starts at 6 p.m. and not at 7. We changed the hour. And I'm happy that we did, because we have a lot of people listening from overseas. So this is easier for people from overseas to access the show. And it's a little bit more convenient. But again, it's 6 p.m. and not 7 p.m. And today we were talking about the fear, this emotion. And we'll try to give you the 12 steps to eradicate fear. And you're going to say, is that possible? And everything is possible, especially when it comes to this emotion that is so destructive, so irrational, so unwarranted, and so throws you out of balance. So when you take the word fearlessness, if you take that word in itself, there are the 12 steps that are spelled into the word, and they all talk about the daily efforts that you can use in order to banish fear. So let's take the word. So okay, F from fearlessness. F stands for facing the truth. You can never eradicate something in your life if you don't face the truth. If you live in denial, then you live in denial for many lives to come. But facing the truth is facing the truth of what scares you, and how to challenge what scares you, how to challenge your fear. So distinguish between your necessary fears and the unnecessary fears. Chances are that many of your fears are, as I said, are warranted in the greater scheme of your life. So remember the unfortunate event that you fear that might happen. It did not actually happen. So just to make it clear, facing the truth is key to eradicating fear. You face the truth that, yes, you're afraid of this, and you name it, whatever you're afraid of. As you're listening to the show, tell yourself loud voice, I'm afraid of being poor. I'm afraid of being sick. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that. Whatever that is that you're afraid of. Admit it. You admit it. It's the first step, Then the letter E, stands for erasing negative imprints. Because many times your fears stem from past negative experiences and from watching someone else enduring such experiences. Like, for instance, your fear of divorce is originated in your parents' divorce, or in your best friend divorce, or if your sister's divorce. So when you have to remind yourself, what you have to do, have to remind yourself on a daily basis that this is not something you want to go through. So FEA, the letter A, stands for allowing change. Believe it or not, when you go to the root of the problem and you acknowledge that problem, that indirectly you allow for things to change. You open the door to the change. You open the door to something else. You open a door to the new beginning. You open the door to eliminate, to delete, to invade your fear out, to invite fear to exit that room of your subconscious mind. And people are afraid of change, talking about fear of all kinds, but people are afraid of change. They fear, that change will disrupt their life, will take them out of their comfort zone. But change actually serves to transport from something old into the new version of yourself, from the old you into the new you. So allow the divine change to come your way. When you find the root of the problem, you participate in releasing that problem, but you also participate in allowing a new beginning. You participate in the creation of a new you. And then FEAR, fear, the word fear. Fear, R, stands for what? Relax. Relax, because fear is accumulation of a lot of stress, a lot of pressure. You're afraid not to get the job, or you're afraid to lose your home. You've been under so much pressure. You cannot think straight. You cannot concentrate. You cannot, you need to calm down. Relaxation has to do. Calm yourself down if you want to get rid of your fear. Take a break. Remind yourself that you're capable of resolving everything. Give yourself the power. Fear less. So L is the following letter that stands for let the divine in life, in this world, and in your own life. You have to let the divine in. We pray, to pray to God, pray to who you want to pray to. And it's interesting that we all have intuition, and intuition is the portal to the divine world. Is that ability of the brain that connects you to what you're praying to. That's why when you receive a message in an intuitive one, is the divine talking to you. So let the divine in. And spirit will eradicate your fear, will participate in helping you eradicate your fear. Fearless, then again, we have another E that stands for ending fuse, because when you fight, and in life, a lot of fear comes from fighting with other people, fear of abandonment, fear of being betrayed, fear of being hurt, fear of being abandoned. There's so many emotions of fear that are associated with other people. But when you said ending those fuses, you put an end to the fear that someone else is going to hurt you through the process. And S stands for what I've been talking for, strengthening your intuition. Because when you strengthen the portal to the divine, then the fear is completely gone. Because you know that your intuitive mind is accessing the divine, and the divine is invited in, and all your problems get resolved by the power of the divine. And then another S that stands for being selective. You have to learn in life how to be selective. You have to learn in life how to pursue things in a selective way. You have to learn in life who to invite into your life. You have to learn in life which road to take to get where you wanna go. And the more you think this way about yourself, the better and the easier it is to get what you want. And you create that positive vision of yourself. Also, N stands for new mentality. When you want to create a different life, first of all, you have to create a new way of thinking. Because we used to say you are what you think, and what you think you become, and what you think is fear, you get in return fear. If you think of change the mentality, and you're not afraid anymore, all the doors of your life will open. You'll find your path. You'll find a beautiful you. You'll find all your life is going to come with this joy and glory. As simple as that. I'm drinking my alkaline water, by the way, because I'm talking so much morning and night. So N stands for new mentality, a new way of behavior, make a list of all your thoughts, of all your intention. And this will help you diminish all the negative thoughts, and you will multiply the positive thoughts. And E, again, continuing the spelling of the word fearless, E stands for endless potential. When you open the door to a new beginning, to a new mentality, you actually open the door to new potential. You open the door to endless potential. Actually, one of the laws of the universe is the law of infinite possibilities. And there is no doubt in my mind that if any of you decides today to open the door to endless potential, your life will change in a matter of days, probably in a matter of hours. because it comes to replacing fear with an empowerment. You become powerful. And every time you find fear slipping to your mind, you alter your thoughts by manifesting a different reality. And then S, at the very end, we have two S's. One S that stands for security in yourself, because you start to believe in yourself and you start to shine, and you start to believe in your skills, in your abilities, and you start to say, I can do it, I can do it. And before you were saying, I'm not good enough, I will fail, but now you said, I'm not narrowing my window of possibility, I open all of my windows, imagining yourself opening all your windows. And the last S stands for surprising opportunities, because when those windows are open, when your mind is open, from that person who was afraid into the person who's fearless, the shift is extraordinary, and opportunities are all around you. Everywhere you turn, you're going to see an opportunity. And I welcome you to feel without fear, to feel fearless, and to feel powerful, because that was the intention of my show today, so that you understand how to live without fear, so that you access, all the goodness in you. You access a life that is authentic. So try to live an authentic life without fear of tomorrow, or fear of any kind. And I'm Dr. Carmen Harra, and I will see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. And thank you so much for listening. I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to On Time Radio and to all of you listening. And I will see you next week.